Hey guys, today I'm here to tell you about one of my favorite shooting drills, and I think it's extremely important to practice. I think it's one of the best. Now, it's based off a shooting drill that Jeff Cooper, famous pistolero, invented in the 1970s, the El Presidente. Now, because I don't have the 3 targets necessary to do an actual El Presidente, where you start, engage 2 shots to each of the 3 targets, reload, and engage 2 each again in the opposite order, I do 2 targets, 3 shots each with a reload in between the 2. So I'll give you an example. I would turn, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, drop the mag, reload, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then consider both targets to be neutralized. All right, so we're gonna do this first one kind of slow. I'm gonna make sure I don't do too much in front of you guys so it's not confusing or whatnot. And basically this teaches you to draw from a holster and engage targets, to learn how to get better at not only identifying targets, but drawing and then reaching to that point where your gun is up where it needs to be, and then you can extend and squeeze trigger and follow through. Now the tough thing about this drill is remembering your fundamentals when you get too excited about it. It's really easy to get all worked up in the moment and just jerk the hell out of that trigger and just send rounds flying. You can be as close as 5 yards, completely miss the target. I've seen people do it countless times. But without further ado, this is the modified El Presidente. Since my pack timer is currently in the shop, so to speak, meaning it's fried, I'm going to imagine there's a pack timer beeping at me. Beep. Now, I engage both targets 3 times each. Magazine's empty, gun is empty, reholster. And what's interesting about this drill in general is you can do this drill with only 50 rounds of ammo, so a single box of ammunition. Now, you only really need 2 magazines, but for this drill, I like to have 6 magazines, so I can do it 3 times without having to load magazines, because I hate spending the majority of my range time loading mags. It sucks. For this kind of drill, I actually use these cheap fake knockoff Glock mags. I got them for $4 or $5. They're Korean made. They tend to fall apart after a couple thousand rounds of use, but for training, they're fine. I don't carry them, and I wouldn't carry them, but they make good training rounds or training mags. So this time I'm going to add another element into it, which is movement. To quote James Yeager, you want to get off the X, which is actually some solid advice. Don't make the guy trying to kill you's life any easier. Make it so you're the most difficult target you can be. So we're going to, during the reload, throw some movement in there. See how it goes. Now, one of the interesting things about that target over there, the one with the center mass swinger, is it's not the best for this drill, because you really should be aiming center mass. And I catch myself doing so occasionally with that target, and I'll send rounds right through the open cavity. That said, that whole, the part you saw earlier where I was keeping the gun up in where I need to have it in my workspace, so to speak, is excellent. It's a good habit to have. You don't want to get too high up, because if you block your field of vision, then you're screwed. I like to have it right here, right beneath my chin, so I can see it from my peripheral vision. I can still look forward, see any potential threats, and then engage accordingly. All right, so we'll do another variation I like to do, which is strong hand only. So we assume we're out in the Badlands and we've been injured. Our left hand is basically paralyzed. So we're gonna have to do this entire drill one-handed. That is, of course, after I load the gun. But I'll show you the way we're gonna load this gun. Basically, is to holster, and use the same hand to reach in and get our magazine. Put it inside the mag well, then use the slide lock, and then engage. So, see how that goes? I'll keep this hand down. We'll assume it's limp, or lame rather. Beep. Now, it's not the easiest way to do those reloads, and it's definitely a little tricky, a little uncomfortable, but that's good. If you can practice this and do this successfully under less than ideal conditions, then you can do it all day long at the range. Alternatively, hopefully, if you train hard enough and train under such adverse conditions that if you ever need to employ this sort of thing, if you're ever actually being ambushed by 2 or 3 guys and they've got you at gunpoint, A, don't swing around wildly and shoot them. You're probably gonna get shot in the back. Might want to take a more opportune moment to engage them, but it's good habit to have to not just assume you know where the targets are. You turn, identify, engage. Now you're doing that very quickly, so you're turning, and this gun is empty, chamber empty, mag empty. You're turning, at the same time you turn, you have this gun almost up where you need it, and you snap to your targets, and engage them both. Now there is a berm actually behind me as well. We have a horseshoe shaped berm going on right here, and forest in every direction around 600 yards to 800 yards of dense forest. So these are, I believe these are frangibles I'm using right now just to be safe, since we are kind of close to the targets. Yeah, they're federal frangible ammunition. So just the same, it's good to be safe. Another alternation you can do in this, or alternate, I think is really good, is for shooters who want to practice drawing their concealed carry from concealment. This is an excellent drill, assuming that your shooting range allows you to do so. I know it can scare the hell out of some range officers to think that the shooters on the line can draw from a holster and then turn and shoot, because they assume everybody, empty, is going to do this. And that's horrifying. And they rightfully believe that, because I've seen a lot of new shooters do stuff like that. And not because they're stupid, not because they're negligent, because they just don't know. It doesn't make it any better if they kill somebody, but it's take a bit of time to educate people around you and make the range safer for everybody else if you get a chance to. That said, if the range does allow you to do this sort of drill, drawing from concealment, or if you have a private range like me, drawing from concealment with your concealed carry in similar garb that you wear during whatever season you're in, that's the best practice you can have. Especially if you tend to wear the same coat, or you wear the same pair of pants, say you have a lucky pair of jeans you wear all the time, put them on, man. Especially if you pocket carry, if you're gonna be wearing those jeans the vast majority of the time you're shooting, have them on. Shooting and being accurate and being consistent, it's consistency, it's all it is. So the more consistent everything tends to be, the more accurate the facsimile is of the shooting experience, the better you'll do under adverse conditions, because you're gonna fall back on learned behavior and fall back on muscle memory, so to speak. So if you've done this drill 10,000 times, you may actually look for other targets. So that's why you wanna make sure part of your drilling sequence or steps is identifying targets and then engaging. It'll slow down your time, but if you're doing this as part of a concealed carry training regimen, that's ideal. You don't want to get in the habit of automatically snapping towards 2 or 3, 4 or 5 targets have been on your range, because if it's just one guy who's trying to kill you and you accidentally shoot the pregnant mother on the right and the group of orphans on the left, I don't know what kind of horrifying grocery store you're at, but if that ends up being the situation, you don't want to accidentally engage a bunch of friendlies. But yeah, this is one of my favorite training regiments out there. I do this fairly often, and it's one of the benefits of having a range in my backyard. The best part about this, like I said before, is you can do it with a single box of ammunition. I think it's a great way to start and end a range session, which really shouldn't ever last more than 250 rounds if it's a serious training session. I know after 250 rounds, when I'm taking my time and I'm really concentrating, I'm mentally exhausted and my hands are shaking. Partially because I squeeze every gun I fire like it just offended my mother, but partially because I'm putting so much into it. I'm concentrating so hard. Now, there are a lot of other training methods out there and a lot of really good methodologies I use that aren't the El Presidente, but this is a really good one. It's a little advanced, so if you're not comfortable drawing from a holster yet, I recommend getting comfortable doing so. There are a number of ways of doing that. One that's really good is taking the slide off your gun if you're really uncomfortable with your first gun or whatnot, and before you do anything else, drop the magazine, check to make the chamber's empty, double check tactily with your pinky finger, and you can see that little ring from the chamber. That's a good sign that there's nothing in your chamber. Look, verify, great, disassemble. All right, now you've got basically a piece of plastic that has your frame and your grip to it. So, and that'll still fit inside of a holster. That's pretty cool. Well, at least in the surface style holster will. So you can get used to drawing and whatnot. So that's it for my miniature El Presidente presentation. If you guys have any training stuff you'd like to know about or want me to go over, I'd be more than happy to do so. And we can try this sometime with a rifle or a carbine, though it'll be a little bit longer range. This is currently about 15 yards away. Thanks guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and maybe give me a subscribe. I always appreciate it. And of course, keep those views coming, guys. I appreciate the assistance. I hope I can bring you guys more quality content like this on a more regular basis. And hopefully next time I'll have some K in the video. Thanks guys.